Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you're doing well. Tonight, we're going to talk about, it's going to be Saturday night hangout, so you can talk about what you want. We'll comment on what you want. But we're going to talk about getting up before you can, while you still can. Marjorie Taylor Greene, just a few important things that happened this week. But anyway, yeah, getting up while you still can. What I mean is getting out of government control. Anyway, we're going to talk about that, bring that up a little bit. So anyway, hey, how's it going? I have no idea. I didn't realize don't recognize who you are, but you are a moderator. So anyway, glad you're here. You haven't done a lot of videos this last week. I've been doing trees. I got to sit there and make money somehow. So I've had a few tree jobs to do. And, on those days, I guess Jeff Bezos can't make any money on me. Hey, how's it going? Who are you? I don't remember making anybody monitor by that name. So anyway, you have to sit there and tell who you are. Anyway, but anyway, I haven't been doing videos lately. I've been busy with the trees, okay? It's hard to do two jobs, and plus all the other stuff that I like doing. YouTube's kind of I'm going to have to rebrand my channel because the algorithm is against me so bad. So bad. I want to start up another channel. We're going to get into that about getting out while you still can. Taking my horse out to the trails and riding the mountains and maybe doing a video, taping a lot of stuff, but doing a video once a week whenever I get to where I get service where I can do a video. But I need to go find a place where I can sit there and dig my dugout in the mountains where my only neighbor is Sasquatch, because this country's falling apart, completely falling apart. And what happened this week? Anyway, let's start with Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay? Her resignation, all right? Been in Congress almost 5 years, and she decides to resign halfway through her third term, okay? Hey, hi, everybody. Appreciate you being in the chat. But Marjorie Taylor Greene's resigned as of January 5th of next year. Isn't it amazing? Somebody in Congress has to be there for 5 years, and then I believe it's at 62, they get an awesome retirement package. Okay, if they don't retire, so when they turn 62, medical, all that stuff. Okay, she's on principle, right? Well, be done with Congress now. I like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but this just exposes them. For one thing, she goes into Congress, she's worth $700,000. And 5 years later, she's worth $25 million. $25 million? Boy, she's just as good as an investor as AOC or Nancy Pelosi is. But no, she's going to wait to resign until she can get her retirement package. Her golden parachute from the American taxpayer. What a bunch of crock of shit. How do you sit? No, this is what probably happened. In a way, I don't blame her, because she probably got sat down, played a video tape of Charlie Kirk or something, and be like, you never know when this could happen to you or somebody in your family. I bet you Thomas Massey will be next. Okay? Trump wants a bunch of yes people in Congress. But anyway, why would you sit there and resign after the win you just had? It makes no sense. The only thing that makes sense is that she was convinced to resign. All right? Because she'll never get into public office again. Never. Who sits there and elects a politician who quit before? Matt Gaetz did the same thing too, didn't he? He quit last January. By the way, yeah, just gone. But she's got to make sure she gets her retirement first. And like I say, I like to know how she made her wealth 30 times larger in 5 years. Can you imagine putting $100 or $1,000 in an account and getting 30 times what it was worth in 5 years? Boy, that's some investing. Anyway, we get played as the American people. Even as somebody we sit there and want to follow and stuff. The propaganda can make anybody look good. Now, I'm not saying she didn't have some good qualities and stuff. And, the deal with Trump, the big rift between Trump. Wow, has that happened before? Trump and Elon Musk were best buds. And then all of a sudden they hate each other. And now Trump with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey and stuff don't want nothing to do with them. But anyway, how did she get so rich in 5 years? 30 times over. Doesn't make no sense. Just as crooked as the rest of them, but I'm sure she got sat down and said, it's time for you to go. All right? This is what's happening, people. Like I say, your vote don't matter. This is the thing voting is going to get to be. Okay, they're still going to need somebody to vote, to create that vote. But how that vote is counted for who is going to be determined by who counts the votes, just like Stalin said. Anyway, so that's the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing. It's crock shit. Like I said, I think she read the ultimatum. I believe Thomas Massey will be the next to go, because Marjorie Taylor Greene had a wonderful career, you might say, in Congress. Become a majority leader or leader of the Republicans in Congress maybe one day, or even maybe become a senator and president. Who knows? But all they do is show their true colors. I mean, come on. You're going to wait until the 5th of January so you can have 5 years in Congress by the 3rd of January so you can sit there and get a golden parachute retirement plan when you turn 62 from the taxpayer? You just increased your wealth from 700,000 to 25 million in 5 years. What the hell else do you need off the taxpayer? God, what a crock of shit. I mean, you hear this? I heard that news last night, and I'm like, I figured out that she probably got told she had to leave, but I didn't understand that she had become so rich in Congress like the rest of them, like AOC and Omar, all these people. How can they acquire all this wealth? I know if I acquired, where my wealth went up to what I make now to $10 million a year or $10 million over like 2 years, the IRS would be sticking their microscope up my ass to see where that money came from. Like I say, you want to follow the money trail on some illegal activities? Just follow the money trail on our country being $38 trillion in debt that we know of, probably $39 trillion. Imagine if you followed those money trails. By the way, it doesn't matter. Like I say, when I first got out of the Marine Corps back in '94, being forced out like I was due to the force reduction in Clinton and the politicians, giving the military the chopping block, gave me a thank you and some severance pay and say, welcome to the civilian world. Well, I was starting to get into politics. I was going to conventions. My mom had me all dressed in suits and stuff. Well, I'd go there, and half of them thought I was Secret Service, and the other half I was being approached by these people to see if they're looking for somebody with charisma, somebody who can stand in front of a crowd and talk to them and get them to believe you, that charisma, somebody they can sell to the people. Okay? And you get approached like that, you get talked to and stuff, and they find out what kind of person you are. And when I found out what the hell was going on, I'm like, no, I can't be bought. No, I'm not the one for you. That's who they look for. See, I found out from the lower level which ones get to the higher levels. And this was back in the 90s. Anyway, Jeepers cripes, I could have sat there and rode the gravy train the whole way, huh? Sit there live for these rich people. Get these rich people to buy me so I can sit there and sell their bullshit to the American citizen. Hey, J99, 19, glad to make a live. Hey, not a problem. I tell you what, I haven't put much material out this week because I've been busy doing trees. You know, I can go to a web page and see how much YouTube. Yes, YouTube. I'm not making money on YouTube, but YouTube's making money on my channel on YouTube. And I got to sit there and do stuff every once in a while that pays the bills. Anyway, but yeah, the Marjorie Taylor Greene. And this is the thing, okay? She's getting out. She can't do nothing, really? So she's got to leave Congress. Now get this, people. She leaves Congress because she feels she can no longer accomplish anything there, right? A congresswoman. Okay, then what the hell is the average person supposed to be able to do? If we got the people in Congress that are supposed to be fighting for us, fighting for the Constitution, they sit there and call it quits because they can't do nothing. This country's going to do a lot of changing in the next 3 years, people. You know, I've said that with the military in the streets, which they're going away now in the cities where the military is, they're not going away now, are they? They're going to start doing gun confiscation. I say within the next 3 years before Trump's gone, if gun, you know, they're going to have digital ID, digital currency, and they're going to try gun confiscation. These people don't care. See, why would they do this? Because we haven't done nothing so far. They sat there and put the American taxpayer up to $40 trillion in debt, and we haven't done a damn thing about it. All that information Doge had access to, the American citizen, according to the Constitution, has a right to have access to that information. If every American had access, according to the Constitution, like it says, on how our taxes are spent, what do you think would happen within the next 2 hours if they released all that information on the internet? Okay? Cheapers, cripes, like I say. The crimes you could follow. Follow the money and you'll see the crimes. But anyway, next year, I'm going to have what I have behind me. Okay? And I'm going to get it before. And what I mean by get it, I'm going to go out next summer. I'm going to sit there, you know, work a week, make my $5,000-$6,000, and I'm going to take like 5 weeks off. And I'm going to ride through the mountains on my horse and pack horse. And I'm going to go find me a place next to a stream where I have Bigfoot as my neighbor that only I know about. So far away from people. Because I'm going to get that before I'm not allowed to get it. Before every purchase I make is tracked and got to be approved. You know, digital currency is now the government is a primary signature on your bank account. Digital currency is going to be like your Social Security account. How much control do you have to your Social Security account? Yeah, you have all the only thing you are required by law now to put money to make deposits, and the government gets to control the withdrawals. That's what that's what digital currency is going to be. Everybody's going to get your digital, and then they'll sit there and say, yeah, well, you get that card and you go with this, you're going to get universal basic income too. You know, they're going to try to sell it. They always get, you know, if the government, if it's a good idea, you shouldn't have to entice the people with giving them something for it. They're giving you stuff so you'll give up your freedom. They give you convenience and you give up your freedom. Anyway, the government loves being in control of people. They're just not very good at managing things now, are they? Anyway, it's just, I'm going to get out while I still can. And like I say, I'll sit there. I got to change my whole apparatus on YouTube because this channel's going nowhere. I mean, it still grows a little bit, but with the algorithm hammered down on it, like I say, when this all comes to right, Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and all you other morons that are in charge, Elon Musk, of social media platforms, you're going to have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights slap you the fuck in the face. Slap you the fuck in the face. You're going to find out what this First Amendment is. You're going to find out what violating somebody's constitutional rights is, especially all this. I mean, this guy I've been watching, I keep forgetting, Eric something. Anyway, he's a homeless guy, right? But he grooms himself and stuff, and he just walks through the woods, backpacks through the woods and stuff. I get, and it's his way of being homeless. And, he said his video, he's been on YouTube for like 4 years, and his channel didn't start taking off until he put the word homeless in his title. And I don't have a problem seeing, this guy's cool. He's not, like I say, if you saw him walking down the street with his backpack and stuff, you'd probably think he was just walking across the country, not your typical beard, all that other shit. Keeps himself shaved. The thing is, right, he's walking through the mountains. He's not a survivalist, okay? But this guy is not afraid to pitch his tent anywhere and sleep for the night, but he's not what you would call a survivalist. But, he's free. He sat there and said, yeah, I choose to be homeless. He had a job, good, but he said, I don't want to play the game anymore. I'm sick of playing the game. Just like me, you can see it. All you are is played, so you can sit there and go out and make as much money as possible. So you can sit there and give it to everybody else, and you get to live a meager life. I mean, imagine the lives we could all live if we didn't have to sit there and support everybody else's life. Anyway, I want to get out there and do that while I still can, where I can sit there and find a place in the mountains to hide away with my horses in my dugout next to a stream and, screw this. I will not deal with digital currency or digital ID. Okay, the government's already got too much control. If I didn't have to pay taxes, I wouldn't have to deal with the government at all. Yeah, the VA, but I don't go to the VA. But then again, the VA used to be joked about as the type of medical, it is. Old doctors, the jokes. Well, civilian medical is, at least the VA isn't bought by the pharmaceuticals yet. Should I say it that way? At least the VA doctor ain't got a drawer full of samples that he needs to give out to his patients. Anyway, crazy world, people, crazy world. I want to get out there and do that while I still can. And then I'll sit there and revamp my channel into Lone Wolf Prepper Adventures or something. I don't know. And enjoy as much as I can in this life. I'm not going to chase a freaking dollar bill. I refuse to. At my age, I'm not giving up any more of my time than I have to survive and live the life I want, than to put any more hours of my life that I got towards giving money to the government, giving money to people that don't want to take care of themselves. I'm not going to do. I'm going to choose not to be homeless, because I won't be homeless. I still have my place here and stuff, but I'm going to travel. And when I find a place like that behind me that I can get all developed, like I say, I have the skills where I can wire it, have electricity, have my power, my running water, hot water, cold water. I know how to do all that stuff in a climate-controlled dugout. What am I willing to give up to be free? I'm willing to give up a lot of conveniences, because no convenience is worth any of my rights. Not whatsoever. I don't want to make my life convenient. I want to make my life free. And if you're free and independent, that's not an easy thing. If you're sitting there growing your own food, hunting your own food, processing your own food, making sure you stay warm, surviving is a full-time job. But there's more satisfaction in it than you going to work 40-hour weeks. The average is 60-hour weeks now, just so you can scrape by, so you can come and turn your light on. I don't want to spend any more of my time so they can put a worthless green piece of paper in this hand, and then I put it in this hand and give it to some rich guy. One of the problems in this country is we're running out of money, people. There's not enough money in the world anymore to go around, because everything ends up at the top, and there's not enough at the bottom anymore for the top to get any more money. So what do? The government just prints it. 2 weeks ago, the government gave the banks $120 million over a few days so they could stay solvent. Really? $120 billion to the banks to stay solvent? Why is that? That's because us little people, I don't have no loans or credit cards. I'm debt free. But the people that can't afford that no more because they're determined, boy, should I eat this month or should I pay my credit card bill? Okay, and everybody's going to eat. The reason these banks and credit financial institutions are lacking money is because people don't have no money to pay their debts anymore. I mean, when they sat there and made it where debt is an asset, boy, I would have loved to see the first brilliant professor that came up with that shit. Okay? Because that's not what I learned in bookkeeping. Okay? But debt's an asset. Yeah, as long as somebody's paying on that debt. The second they stop paying on that debt, it's no longer an asset. Anyway, hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification, because I rub against the grain. And I'm still trying to get this channel to grow. But like I say, the algorithm doesn't like me because, I don't follow the narrative at all. I refuse to follow the narrative. Bunch of pack of lies. Boy, if you lived your life the way a politician wanted you to, I don't know, like the people on EBT and welfare, boy, you're controlled, aren't you? Oh, we can't fill this hand this month. Too bad. Shit in this one. This is what you get told by our government. Anyway. And then Trump. They say when he had Zoran Mandami in the Oval Office, he was awful cordial. But, saying, he would move back to New York City, and New York City didn't do it, Trump. Do it. Move back to New York City. Why don't you move to Harlem or something? Why don't you move to a place where there's a bunch of homeless people so you can bring the military in to get rid of the disgusting view of what the politicians create? It's amazing that a politician and their policies, which create homeless, can't stand looking at it. Maybe if we weren't, with all the money that we have given in foreign aid over the last 5 years, and I'm not even talking that. What about hotel rooms that we paid for illegals and stuff? No veterans got free hotel, $300 a night hotel rooms. If we would have spent all that money on the American people, maybe, not infrastructure, but job creation and stuff, get rid of the illegals. Like I say, our politicians don't give a shit about us. 50 plus million H-1B legal workers in this country, taking entry-level jobs, 71% of them from India. And then the illegal immigrants that have jobs that Americans don't want. Remember, Trump said he wants to give them amnesty. Okay, and then AI taking jobs. In the next couple of years, that's going to be 100 million plus jobs that Americans don't have. Just the 50 million foreign workers in this country, legally, on H-1B visas, getting away with this shit. This is bull crap. Bull crap. And then Trump sits there and says, Americans aren't capable. Okay, if that's true, and I agree that the younger generation isn't as capable as the generation we were in. But why? Because you don't allow parents to do their job. Parents don't care to do their job. They don't get an education. They get indoctrinated. The only thing they're capable of doing when they graduate high school is live in their parents' basement. And the only thing they're capable of doing when they get out of college is work at McDonald's. Why? Because the 600,000, all the foreign students in this country, the millions of them from all over the world, well, they're taking your jobs that you're going to school for. And our politicians, like I say, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is worth 30 times more now after 5 years than she was when she entered Congress 5 years ago. 30 times more. Whose income increased 30 times fold over the last, or your wealth increased 30 times fold over the last 5 years? Who? What American citizen did that? If you did do that, you'd have the IRS at your door. Knock, 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 knock. We got some strange information on you here. How did you make all this money? You would definitely be charged with insider trading. Most definitely. Anyway, but this is a crock of shit country we live in. And the thing is, we don't have the spirit of the patriots. Our country doesn't. Our founding fathers did not want a social services program. They did not want Americans becoming dependent on the government for anything. They didn't want a politician to be able to promise a voter something and get voted for, because they knew that would take out the whole idea of the United States. Being free, having liberty, pursue your happiness, okay? And that's what the government was going to protect. If you chose the wrong path, the government wasn't going to come in there with the safety net and save you with other taxpayers' money. You had a right to fail and a right to succeed. But just because you fail once doesn't mean you ain't going to succeed another time. I mean, how are you supposed to have a pursuit of happiness, a pursuit of what you want to do when you don't even know what you want to do? You don't have no skills. Your pursuit of happiness is waiting for your EBT card to get filled. And these people have no idea how much they're being robbed of their life, how much they're being robbed of what this government is supposed to provide them. Not food and money, but the pursuit of happiness. All these people that make their life easy and convenience miss a lot in living life. Sure, we all sit down and talk about the good times, but it's the bad times, the tough times that bring people together. When I was divorced and I had to sit there and travel to see my kids and get them for a couple of weeks, the time we spent was cherished. I'd have money. I mean, I'd sit there and go to work, bring them with me, and we're eating cheese sandwiches and what I concocted of tomato soup for lunch there. Doing laundry in the bathtub because I didn't have money for laundry. But that built character. Anyway, but I guess, poor people, I had that what they call white privilege. Okay. I've been doing manual labor since I've been 5 years old. I'm 58 now. Boy, I can't wait to when I don't have to enjoy my white privilege anymore. Anyway, our politicians don't care about us at all. At all. And now Trump with this Epstein list thing. Why did he need an act of Congress to do something that he said he was going to do, that he had authority to do, that they said, the list is on my desk. There's truckloads of evidence and stuff. I mean, you people really think you're going to get it? There's no way. There's no way that you're going to, the average low-life person on this planet is going to get the information what it's going to take to dethrone monarchs. Okay? Bring I guarantee you the Eastern Bloc, China, North Korea, Russia, if there's anybody on that list, it's the high, rich oligarchs, not politicians. That list will completely bring down the West. Completely. Completely. Every politician, every government, okay, will be brought down. In every country that's connected to that country will be destroyed. All the countries that the U.S. finances, these third world countries, to bring them up into, manufacturing countries and stuff, all those U.S. dollars that were spent, those countries will fall. It doesn't matter, all those countries that are connected to the U.S. dollar, when the U.S. dollar finally loses its world reserve currency, that's going to be a bloodbath. That's going to be a bloodbath that won't end. One thing, like I say, there's not enough money in this world no more. Everybody lives on credit. That includes the big businesses. They live on credit. What are they going to do when the credit markets seize up? And they can't borrow money to pay their bills. You think Warren Buffett's going to spend his money? Think he's going to spend his golden egg to sit there and save the little guy? Anyway, crazy times, people, crazy times. Like you say, the whole thing behind this is, don't do a bug out plan where I got to get out now. Think in the future. 3 years. Trump hasn't, I voted for Trump, so I don't want to hear it. I'm just a constitutional conservative, and this shit that's going on is beyond bullshit from both sides. But Kamala Harris definitely couldn't get president. Okay? But 3 years. 3 years to go. And then, after that, the Democrats are going to take the midterms and the White House in 3 years. All I got to say is be ready to engage in an alternative plan. And that's what I'm going to do next summer. Okay? Before this digital ID and digital currency, once that all hits, you're going to be completely reliant on the government. Now, me being an independent lone wolf type of guy, there's no way I'm going to be dependent on anybody, let alone a bunch of beta males in the government. I do not believe my neighbor should have to pay for any of my existence. None of it. Boy, what a concept. I can do it on my own. What a concept. All these government programs, you sit there, these YouTube commercials. If our government is so broke, how can there be all this free money on the internet for people my age? Really? Where's all this free money come from? You're telling me I can make $5,000 a year a month just because of my age? Never have to pay for my food or nothing? I just have to be a complete slave to the system? This is the thing, people. All you people that go through your whole life. Never follow a government form to get any money for them. Never been on any type of government entitlement. And the first thing you do when you retire is go to the government office and fill out paperwork for Social Security so the government can control your life. Flat out. They control how you can't make too much. Nope. See, you're on Social Security, you're basically forced into poverty. And you're not allowed by law to bring yourself out of it. Because if you make $1 too much, they take everything. Okay, which is a bunch of shit, okay? We all paid into Social Security. That's not an entitlement. Give us our money back. I believe when you turn 65, you should be able to go to the government and say, you know what? I want you to be my sugar daddy until I die. So I want to make sure I fill out all these forms so you can sit there and run my life for the next 30 years. Or you can go there and fill out the paperwork and say, give me a lump sum and give me my money and stay the fuck out of my life. Oh, that's right. You were only required to make deposits. You're not in charge of the withdrawals. Do not vote for your oppressor. Don't vote for any politician anymore. None of the above, people. Like I say, Marjorie Taylor Greene makes sound like she's a great person, but she got 30-fold more wealthy. I mean, from 700,000 to 25 million in 5 years. I'm done with this shit. Like I say, if the average American did that, they'd have the IRS at that door. Hey, this looks a little suspicious to me. How you turned 700,000 into 25 million in 5 years. We may have to investigate this a little bit. Anyway, communism and socialism is entrenched, has already, and growing. Yeah. You know what Khrushchev? Khrushchev in the early 1960s said that we're not going to, he basically said, we're not going to conquer you with bombs and missiles. We're just going to feed you socialism a little bit at a time, communism a little bit at a time. And pretty soon it'll take over your country. And that's what they did. So McCarthy was right with the McCarthy era and the Congress with the communism. He was saying they're infiltrating education. He was right. They're infiltrating Hollywood. He was right. They're infiltrating government. He was right. I was brought up in history to hate that man. Because he was a lunatic that was going after these innocent people that only cared about America. Really? He was right. When is somebody going to make a video about vindicating McCarthy? Warning the American people what was coming. By the way, but like I say, this whole Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm sure she got a talk to. I'm sure she got, hey, you saw that Charlie Kirk thing? Boy, wouldn't that suck to happen to you or somebody in your family? I mean, we're not rich enough or powerful enough to commit the crimes these fucking politicians and elites commit. We're not rich or powerful enough. They don't care about us. They will off you in a second. I mean, if Roosevelt knew about Pearl Harbor are going to be attacked, look at how many Americans he allowed to die for us to enter World War II. Or if, people knew that 9/11 was going to happen before it happened, look how many Americans they let die so they could come in with the Patriot Act. Right? Our government never has our best interest in mind. Ever. And this is just another thing. They control everything. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't had this channel canceled. That's one thing. YouTube isn't doing much anymore. But they're just got the algorithm in charge. I mean, we got a computer program that's regulating our First Amendment. And everybody just seems to be cool with that. And we got 3-letter agencies that are regulating our Second Amendment, the ATF. Okay, you know what the Bill of Rights was put into the Constitution for? You know why it was added? Because the people who ratified the Constitution said, no, we need more protections to the people. So they added the Bill of Rights, and it basically said, anytime the government even infringes the littlest bit on this Bill of Rights, it's time to invoke the Declaration of Independence. Flat out, people, that's the way it is. That's the way our founding fathers thought. If our founding fathers were to come in time and see how their great experiment was completely corrupted, and I mean corrupted because the lack of civilians doing anything, the patriots doing anything about it. I mean, we got the biggest military in the world in this country with all us vets, trained military, and yet we do nothing. Could you imagine if George Washington would have had a trained military like the one who's going to lead us is going to have? Could you imagine if George Washington would have had that? Plus, okay, the bases, that's our equipment. We paid for it. It's not Trump's equipment or the Senate's equipment or Congress's equipment. It's ours. We paid for it. And since we know how to, us vets know how to use it, we're just confiscating our own shit. But we do nothing. Nothing. I'm waiting for people to catch up. That's why next summer or spring, I'm going to start doing my adventures in the mountains. And I'm going to find my place. And I'm going to create my dugout and stuff in the middle of nowhere where Bigfoot's my neighbor. And that's going to be my closest neighbor within 100 goddamn miles. Believe me, out here out west, there's a lot of places where there aren't people for miles, let alone roads, houses, nothing. Okay, one day in this country, you know how bad it's going to get? One day in this country, everybody's going to realize how good the homeless have it. All the skills that the homeless have learned through the years of surviving that the average spoiled American has no clue. You're going to, when you start envying the homeless, okay, maybe you'll sit there and say, hey, maybe I should not trust this government anymore. But then again, with COVID-19, then the homeless never had to get the shots either. I guess they were immune to it. I mean, they weren't dying in droves. Anyway, crazy world we live in, people. Crazy world we live in. Like I say, if you appreciate the content, please hit that thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Because we got a world of hurt coming down. I don't sell anything on this channel. I don't take donations. I don't take super chats. We got a problem in this country. How I want to be repaid out of this is to be able to retire in peace. Okay? Right now, I can't retire in peace with all this shit that's coming down the road. I want to get people together so I can sit there. I can say, there's a lot of Democrats and Republicans, get 20% retards on the right, 20% retards on the left, mega liberals, and we got the 60% of us in the middle. Okay? We're the majority. All right? God, I wish we could bond together. But then again, if my channel got access like it should, I could sit there and this would be a platform where we could start organizing. So when that person that finally comes, the George Washington that's going to lead us, we already got the army ready for him. Say, here, I would love to do like a week-long exercise of 3 to 4 million vets around DC, not in the city, but around the city. Just have exercises. We're allowed. Because you want to know who the well-regulated militia is us vets. I mean, we'd be big enough numbers where nobody could touch us. We'd all be armed, so the cops would have to behave them fucking selves. And then give a little sign to the government saying, we had enough of your shit. This is what we're going to do before we hand our demands to you on a sword while you're sitting in a chair. Do you need to get to that point? Do you politicians need to get to that point? That King Richard with the Magna Carta? Do you really need to get to that point? Tyrants will never learn. They always think, oh, I got a new way of doing this. I got a new way of selling the people and stuff. It doesn't work. Okay? The ember of freedom will always be more powerful than the flame that forges the sword of control. Always. It's just a human basic instinct. Yeah, some of them can be bought over and stuff, and, oh, yeah, I'll do whatever you say. Keep giving me my money. And then there's some of us that, like the 20% of us, imagine that, 20, 30, 40% of us, like with the revolution, that aren't going to deal with it. But it doesn't matter. 100% of America is going to sit there and get the benefit from our sacrifice. But once this all starts out too, like I say, this is the domino effect worldwide. When we have the West start falling, whether it be Canada, Britain, us, Mexico's kind of screwed up now. I wouldn't really call, I guess you call it in the West, or Germany or France. If one of those countries finally go into civil war, it's going to spread. Because these politicians are pussies, people. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You mean it got tough, so the first thing you had to do was quit? Really? You can't do nothing in Congress because it's just too corrupt. Like I say, what does the American citizen have left? If our Congress people can't even do anything to change it, you're going to vote it in? Okay? You have to, it's going to come a time, people, where you're going to have to decide what you're willing to do to maintain your freedom. And the thing is, our country has been corrupted for so long that the average person, I don't think, realizes what freedom is. Freedom to them is they don't understand what freedom is. Like I say, they don't understand what the pursuit of happiness is. They don't even know what happiness, what they want to pursue. Like I say, as kids these days, these younger kids, young teenagers, what do you want to be when you graduate? Oh, I don't know. God, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a Marine. I went into that. You know, everybody had the dream. I want to be a cowboy. Finally did that when I was 40 years old. Okay? I figure if they can figure out a way to make money on the moon in the next 15 years, I still might be able to get to sit there, walk on the moon one day. First, don't have one person on the top. We have 7 or 4 different parties. Oh, Swiss? Hey, yeah. You know, Switzerland. Boy, what's it like in Switzerland for gun control? Oh, that's right. All you guys are required to be able to learn how to shoot a gun. Crime rate's down. Imagine that. Anyway, Tom, let me know where you find your dugout. Great live tonight. It's going to be next year, but like I say, I want to do it while I still can. I don't want to get to the point where all of a sudden we have military checkpoints on all major intersections where you need papers to travel. I know that sounds extreme, but we have military inner cities now, people. Now, I was in the military. I saw a lot of bad shit in the world, and it's all coming here. I saw how those people lived. Go visit a third world country. Don't see it on TV. Actually go visit. All you people that want to hire these third world country employees, go to the country that you're hiring this employee from. I guarantee you'll stop hiring these people. You wonder why they break all your shit? Like I say, they'll pay these guys $5,000-6,000 a month to work for them on these H-1B visas, and then they have to pay $5,000-6,000 a month, especially in agriculture, for the stuff they broke. There's a reason we're a first world country, because of the American culture, the American attitude, our pursuit of happiness. Okay? And there's a reason third world countries are third world countries, because basically the people are ignorant, lazy bastards. Okay? Working with some of these H-1B visa workers, I mean, for instance, anybody who drives a tractor knows that if you engage or disengage the PTO, you idle all the way down. Nope. Shearing pins. What am I doing wrong? You know, I got to teach a 35-year-old something that I learned when I was 6. But these are the people that Trump says are more capable of doing entry-level jobs than we are. Fuck him. Fuck him. You're going to cut people off social services and you're only going to give them a job to go to. What a fucking asshole. Like I say, he sits there, oh, we're going to give the taxpayer, was it $2,000 rebate check or whatever? Trump spends that on dinner. On dinner. And he's going to throw what he spends on dinner to the average American and say, here, lap it up like a dog. I'm doing something good for you. And the Democrats aren't no goddamn better. Anyway, you see why my channel doesn't get a lot of push on YouTube? Because I'm a person that I'm not afraid to fucking say it. Okay? I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid of no human being, no matter what position they have. If I got in the Oval Office, I'd tell Trump the same fucking thing. You're a piece of shit. You're a lying bastard. I wouldn't even go to the Oval Office. I'd say, fuck you. I mean, these people aren't even worth spending my time to sit there and fuck them. That's why another reason I'm on YouTube, because I can come on YouTube and tell Trump and all your other zero friends, you know, your little gang that you got there, and all the Democrats and all you piece of shit politicians and school board members in Dearborn, Michigan, fucking mayor, you piece of shit. Yeah, you Dearborn, Michigan mayor, you piece of fucking shit. Jesus rules. I mean, we actually got Dearborn, Michigan being run by Muslims. We got a Muslim mayor elect in New York City. What happened there 24 years ago again? How soon we forget. And we are going to pay the price for all this, making sure that we do the right thing. You know, how come we always do the right thing for everybody else, but the American citizen can just sit in the back of the bus? I think it's time, like that, who was that brave black woman? I can't, anyway, maybe it's time for all Americans to be brave like her and sit in the front of the bus where we're not allowed. Rosanna Parks, was that her name? Rosanna Parks, was that her name? Rosie Parks, yeah. Maybe we all need to have the courage she did, where she finally had enough. Said, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not playing this game no more. I'm just as equal as they are. An old woman. Or that 14-year-old girl in Scotland with the hatchet and the knife. I've had enough. This is bullshit. But the average American, like I get told, settle down, settle down. There's no reason to get that excited. Really? When exactly is the time to get excited? When the nuclear bombs are vaporizing our cities? Is that when it's time to finally get excited? When we have, like in third world countries, when we have dirt floor restaurants with waiters working in barefoot, is that when we finally need to say something and do something? You know, the longer we wait to solve this problem, the more lives it's going to take to solve this problem. And the only reason it's going to end up in a war, American citizens should be able to band together, go to D.C. and kick all them fuckers out, and they can't do nothing about it. Flat out. The people have spoken. We should be able to vote to dissolve Congress and re-elect a whole new Congress. But what would happen? The Congress would fight. The politicians would fight because they're not going to give up the power. You know, the power that the American people give them to govern us, they're not going to give that up. Okay? We're going to have to take it. All right? So anyway, I'm just going to get out there, like behind me, and wait for everybody to catch up. Wait for everybody's line in the sand to be crossed. You know, I sat there, been watching other channels, and I actually hear other channels saying what I'm saying now. You know, it's not your neighbor that's your problem, that's your enemy. It's the fucking idiot politician that's telling you your neighbor is your problem. Like I say, start waving, communicating. You got a neighbor, whether you're a liberal and they're conservative, or you're a conservative and they're a liberal, and you just can't talk, start waving to them, smiling. Bury the hatchet. We will never solve any of the problems that are affecting the American citizen if we can never if the average American citizen can't see who their enemy is. If they're blinded by, you know, your politician is your enemy, telling you your neighbor's your enemy. If your enemy's telling you who your enemy is, well, crazy world we live in, people. Crazy world we live in. What happened to free speech? Well, I don't know. My YouTube channel has a hard time with it. The thing is, free speech, people get offended. Okay? If you don't like what I'm saying on my channel, go watch something else. This isn't a communist country. You are not required to listen to me. But you get these people, especially some of them, that just bash and stay on my channel. All they do is insult. Just leave. I'm not expecting everybody to agree with me. Got to have two sides of each coin, right? But, I'm not your enemy. I see who my enemy is. I can see who my enemy is. And it's not my neighbor. It's not even somebody who lives a lifestyle I don't agree with. They're not my enemy. Okay? So you see here a lot of that. Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate you being here, J99. Anyway, everybody have a great night. I got things I got to do yet tonight. I tell you what, it's been some killer weather here. It's November 22nd, and I'm riding horse in my t-shirt again today. All right? November 22nd in the Panhandle of Nebraska, I'm riding horse in a t-shirt. Crazy times, people. Crazy times. Crazy time. Anyway, everybody have a great evening. I appreciate you being here. Like I say, if you like the channel, please hit the thumbs up to subscribe and the bell notification. Watch my other content. You may like it. Share my shorts. Do anything to help the channel grow. I appreciate it because this is what a lot of YouTube content creators need. The audience to help their channel grow. And a lot of it is sharing it. Sharing it with even people that don't agree with it. Like you say, my thoughts of the day are to get people to think. Okay? Not judge, but to get people to think. All right? Anyway, everybody enjoy their Saturday night. If you're watching college football, have a great time. Anyway, and put out some content tomorrow. See what I can all see out there. But anyway, everybody enjoy themselves and have a great weekend. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.